Romans 16:1 talks about female deacons. Let me read it. Paul writes to the Romans and says, I commend you to our sister Phoebe, a deaconess of the church, and that you may receive her in the Lord as befits the saints, and help her in whatever she may require from you, for she has been a helper of many and of myself as well. And the question is, Romans 16:1 talks about female deacons. What does this mean? Why are women not allowed to become deacons in the church today? Fair question. Very good. Because in Romans 16:1, it does say that Phoebe was a deaconess. Now, the nature of a deacon in the early church is a little bit different than we understand it today. In terms of the deacon in a local parish, deacons in the early church were people who assisted. They assisted the disciples and the apostles in their work, and they did all kinds of things. You have to remember, there's nothing menial in the church. There's nothing so low that we simply cannot do it. All of us are called to do all kinds of work in the church. Now, the deacons in the early church typically were people who in one instance waited on tables, took care of the physical aspects of the kingdom as it was growing. And there were a lot of different people that held that office, both male and female. The diaconate today, there's two kinds of deacons. There's what's called a transitional deacon, which after fourth year theology, typically at a seminary, you have pre-theology, which is philosophy, and then 4 years of theology, and then you are ordained. But there is an interim period there where you are ordained as a transitional deacon. In other words, you're not going to be a deacon forever. You're going to become a priest. And then there is also the permanent diaconate. These are lay people who are ordained to the permanent diaconate. All right. Now, the reason that men are in that position is that because of its tie to the liturgy. And the liturgy is an expression of Jesus, the high priest, male, and that's why the church has always adhered to that the priest must be a male. And so when you tie the diaconate to the liturgy, to the sacraments, that's when it is required that this is a male. And so it doesn't have anything to do with better than or anything else. It has all to do with the role of the deacon in the liturgy and in the distribution of sacraments, and that's it. So for some, they might think, well, that's not a satisfying answer, but you can always go deeper into that. But basically, it's tied to the sacraments and the liturgy. Even though some deacons today do things like take the Eucharist out to a prison, and they have a prison ministry or a senior living home, or some kind of teaching role in the church. The truth is that men and women can do probably 98% of what goes on in a church, but when it comes to the sacraments and the holy sacrifice of the Mass, that's a man. If you enjoyed this video and you still have more questions about the Bible, remember to subscribe to this channel and download the free Ascension app for more Bible answers.